Shalom, welcome back. So during the last 2 weeks we've been studying a mother-daughter story of redemption, how the daughter ended up being the redemption of her mother. And it was a beautiful story, and this week we're doing a not-so-beautiful story. But that's important. There's good things in life and bad. There's bitter and sweet, and somehow we have to balance these extremes. So this week's discussion is on Lot's wife. Some of the sources I found named her Idit. I think most of us know that she was turned into a pillar of salt, but it's a pretty famous story. I think most of us know it. But let's take a look and take a look at the context and see what we can learn from what happened. So Lot was the nephew of Abraham. They had split paths, and Lot lived in Sodom, where he married a woman, and she bore him 4 daughters. Kindness and goodness were not traits of Sodom. It was actually against the law to show kindness to a stranger. So this particular day, 2 angels came to the city under disguise. They were ignored and were not even offered the hospitality or the simple kindness of a place to spend the night. Lot, on his way home from the city gate where he sat as a judge, saw the 2 sitting there and welcomed them into his house. Because he had been in the company of Abraham, who was a very hospitable man and always welcomed guests, he couldn't so easily turn his back on a stranger. His wife, on the other hand, in accordance with the laws of the town where she was raised, despised her husband for his hospitality. Now, if we look closely at the dinner, we see something really interesting. Genesis 19:3. And he, that's Lot, made a feast for them and baked matzah, and they ate. This night was the Seder night. Now, I know this is many years before the first Exodus, but Lot observes a Seder. And this night was indeed in many ways parallel to the Exodus from Egypt. A key part of the Seder is welcoming in guests, and that's exactly what Lot did. And for this, he merited the deliverance of his family when the city was destroyed. But as the family ate, Lot's wife refused to provide salt for the food. So instead, she went to the neighbors' houses and asked them for salt. Well, while she was there, she also told them why she needed the salt. She told them that her husband had illegally invited in guests who were eating at her house. Well, the town, of course, was furious at this blatant disrespect of the city's laws. All the men of the city gathered at the door of the house and attacked it. You can read that story in Genesis 19:4-11. The angels rescued Lot from the mob and spent the night in the house. In the morning, the angels commanded Lot to gather his family and leave the city. Lot went to his older daughters and sons-in-law, but they refused to listen to him. Just as in the night of the Exodus, when 4/5 got left behind and were never seen or heard from again, Lot's 2 older daughters and their sons-in-law and his sons-in-laws, when they refused to leave the city, they were destroyed with the city. Lot, his wife, and his 2 younger daughters ran, and they could hear the noise of the destruction of the city. In disobedience to the instructions of the angels, Lot's wife turned around and looked back. She was miraculously transformed into a pillar of salt, as she will remain until the resurrection. Why salt? Measure for measure. What she had refused to provide for her guests, she herself became. The lesson for our lives is to be gracious and hospitable, unlike the people of Sodom and Egypt.